Hey everyone, today we will be looking at a quick recap as it happened of the Champions League and the Europa League draws. I don't know about you, but I get very excited when these names are called out of the bowl, and it's something that I've always followed for a long, long time. So I'm going to try to recreate the entire draw in a very short time. The draw for the quarterfinal and semi-finals of the Champions League and the Europa League took place in Switzerland on Friday. One of the fixtures that was really talked about if it happened would be the Paris Saint-Germain versus Borussia Dortmund game, which would bring together two of the most exciting football stars in world football today, Erling Haaland and Kylian Mbappe. There was a lot of anticipation before the draw as well on whether these two teams would be drawn against each other, as they're also in very good form and they both play a good level of attacking football. So without further ado, let's start with how the draw exactly happened. The first team that was drawn out of the bowl was Manchester City. Manchester City obviously overcame Borussia Mönchengladbach in a very comfortable way, winning aggregate on 4-0. The second name out of the bowl was Borussia Dortmund. Borussia Dortmund had a very close encounter with Sevilla in the round of 16, something that they nearly lost out on because of away goals. They held on to win against Sevilla with an aggregate of 5-4. Manchester City have only met Dortmund twice, and those games have come in the group stage of the Champions League in 2012. So this will be an interesting test for Pep Guardiola's team as they vie for a Champions League title this year. The next name out of the bowl was Porto. Porto obviously famously beat Juventus after extra time on away goals, which meant that we would not see Ronaldo and company in the quarterfinals. So Porto come here with a hard-fought, well-deserved victory. And against Porto, the name that was called out was Chelsea. Ever since Thomas Tuchel was appointed at Chelsea, they have looked really solid in attack and in defense, and they beat Atletico Madrid in the round of 16 with an aggregate of 3-0. So a solid performance there. And like many have suggested, not many teams will want to face Chelsea at this point in the tournament. The next team that was called out was Bayern Munich. Obviously, Bayern Munich are the defending champions and they beat Lazio in the round of 16 with a very comfortable victory of aggregate 6-2. And the name called out against Bayern Munich was Paris Saint-Germain. Paris Saint-Germain advanced to the quarterfinals after beating Barcelona 5-2 on aggregate, which was a repeat of one of their most famous games against Barcelona a few years ago in the Champions League. And now they face Bayern Munich in a repeat of last year's Champions League final. So a very interesting fixture with two heavyweights of Europe coming together. The next team called out of the hat was Real Madrid. Real Madrid have had a mixed season so far, but in the Champions League specifically, they've been quite good. They beat Atlanta in the round of 16 with an aggregate of 4-1, which turned out to be a very comfortable victory over two legs. And finally, against Real Madrid, the last team out of the hat was obviously Liverpool. Liverpool again not having a very good season in the English Premier League, as they have not been able to defend their title, but they had a very comfortable two-leg victory over Leipzig in the round of 16. The Liverpool versus Real Madrid game is really set up to be a big one, with both teams having played each other 6 times in Europe, and both teams have won 3 games apiece. If you look at the way their seasons are going as well, they're having mixed seasons, so this is going to be a make or break for both teams at this stage. In terms of the semi-final draws, as you can already see, the winner of the Man City and Dortmund game would meet the Paris Saint-Germain, the winner of the Paris Saint-Germain and Bayern Munich game, which means that you could potentially see a Chelsea versus Liverpool semi-final, which have always been interesting in the Champions League. But you could also see a Manchester City versus Bayern Munich semi-final, which would mean Pep Guardiola's reunion with his previously managed club. Let's now turn our attention to the UEFA Europa League. Some really big teams in the quarterfinal draw for the Europa League, including Manchester United and Arsenal. And with no restrictions, there was the possibility that the two English teams could play against each other. In this case, the first name out of the bowl was Granada. Granada advanced to the quarterfinal after a close encounter with Molde, where they narrowly won that game 3-2 on aggregate. The team called out to face Granada in the quarterfinals was Manchester United. They advanced from the round of 16 after a victory over AC Milan. And at this point, Manchester United are one of the favorites to win the competition. So they have been given a fairly easy fixture in the game against Granada. The next team out of the bowl was Ajax. Ajax had a very comfortable round of 16 victory against Young Boys, winning 5-0 on aggregate. And Ajax as well have been playing some very fantastic football this season, building on the reputation of the club of consistent European performances one season after the other. The team that was called out to play against Ajax in the quarterfinals was Roma. Roma as well had a very comfortable two-leg victory over Shakhtar in the round of 16. The Ajax versus Roma game promises to be a very fun encounter, with both teams that have a legacy across Europe meeting each other. The next team that was called out of the bowl was Slavia Praha. Slavia beat Rangers in the round of 16 with a comfortable two-leg victory, and they are a team that are considered the underdogs at this stage of the tournament. But they have been playing some very good football. The team called upon to play them in the quarterfinals was Arsenal. Arsenal progressed to the quarterfinals after narrowly beating Olympiacos over two legs after losing one of the games. If you remember, Arsenal were involved in the last All-English Europa League final against Chelsea in 2019, and they will be looking to at least get to the final this time around as well. Next team that was called was Dinamo Zagreb. Dinamo Zagreb famously beat Tottenham. After losing the first leg to Tottenham 2-0, they came back in the second leg and won the second leg 3-0 to win an aggregate of 3-2, which meant that Jose Mourinho, who has won the competition twice as manager, would not be involved in the quarterfinals. They are definitely the underdogs at this stage, and they will be facing Villarreal, who was the final team called upon. Villarreal advanced to the quarterfinals after beating Dynamo Kiev over two legs, which was a comfortable victory in the end. So Villarreal are definitely the favorites in that fixture, but Dinamo Zagreb can surprise quite a few. So turning our attentions to the semi-final draw, the two English teams were kept apart, which could lead to another all-English final. If you look at the favorites across the quarterfinals, there could easily be a Manchester United versus Ajax or Manchester United versus Roma fixture in the semi-finals. On the other hand, there could also be an Arsenal and Villarreal fixture on the other side. So some very interesting games coming up on that front. I hope you enjoyed this quick recap as it happened of the UEFA Champions League and the UEFA Europa League draws. Let us know who you think is best placed to win the Champions League and the Europa League this season.